Mix up some mud, add a couple of tablespoons of second-hand sump oil, and stir thoroughly. Recognise this? Well, if you've been driving around recently, then you've probably seen plenty of this stuff on your windscreen. But stick around, because all will be made clear in just a moment.
Thank you, Peter. And welcome back to Tomorrow's World, live as always. Tonight, we'll be revealing why the Russians are throwing cement into the skies over Moscow. Why, after the unusual weather of the last few years, thousands of palm trees are sprouting up in the south of France. And how microscopic machines like this could be pumping blood around our bodies by the year 2020. Also tonight, we'll be welcoming a new face to Tomorrow's World, Kate Bellingham. Now, what about that muddy windscreen?
Like a screeching start. Well, if you're going to test a windscreen, you might as well make it a big one. And we couldn't find anything bigger than this. So here goes. Do your best, Pete.
Here we go.
Now, windscreen wipers are fine for clearing rain. But as soon as you get muck and grease on the glass, they can start to smear. Well, now you can see a very shallow vertical groove running down this windscreen. And as the wiper crosses the groove, it scrapes itself clean, first on one side of the blade and then the other. And it's stopping the driver's side from on the windscreen from smearing so much. Now, there's no groove on the other side, and you can see that that's smearing pretty badly.
Now, the system can be fitted fairly simply to existing windscreens. On cars, for instance, what you need is a couple of grooves that are roughly parallel to the bottom of the windscreen, and it's done by using a grinder here, and it's guided on this temporary template that's put on the car windscreen. So, here we go. Now, this is an idea from Finland, where the grooved windscreens are already fitted as standard on the police cars over there, and also on the Helsinki taxi cabs. And apparently even the president of Finland has the grooves on his personal limousine. Now, the end result is a very, very thin line here, which is just the depth of the width of a human hair. Now, tonight is the very first time that they've been demonstrated publicly in the UK. Next week, the system will be examined by public authorities in London, including London buses and the Metropolitan Police. So let's hope they get a clear view. But now we have the first of a series of reports from the Soviet Union. As Russia becomes more and more open by the day, Judith reveals one of their best-kept secrets.
The May Day parade in Red Square is Moscow's finest day. The weather, like Gorbachev himself, is cool and dry. Because here in the home of centralized planning, not even the weather has been left to chance. Soviet technology has guaranteed a sunny day. Here at Moscow's Sheremetyevo Airport, this Ilyushin 18 contains all the equipment to track down suspect rain clouds. The white domes on the nose and underneath contain radar to locate clouds, and the long Pinocchio nose analyzes them. But the meteorologists here aren't just interested in studying the microphysics of clouds. This Ilyushin is part of a fleet of aircraft owned by the Weather Modification Department, and they don't just spot bad weather, they control it too. These cartridges of silver iodide crystals are the first line of defense. This technique is widely used in the West. The cartridges explode above the clouds, and the tiny crystals of silver iodide act as focal points for the water vapor. By making it rain in the suburbs, the Ilyushin can keep Red Square dry. But the Department of Weather Modification also has a technique unknown to the West to prevent it raining altogether. This specially equipped Antonov 12 transport is being prepared for one of its regular sorties. They take these boxes up, which they then throw out in mid-flight. So why do they do that? Well, inside here is cement. And apparently these cement particles are heavy enough to force a downdraft of air onto the convective clouds that are rising and threatening to produce rain. And that air moving onto the clouds disperses them and should keep the weather sunny down below. At 10,000 meters, the search is on for the particular clouds that threaten central Moscow's sun. The meteorologists in the Ilyushin assess their structure, temperature and particle density. On this particular day, most of the problem is with convection clouds. The Antonov prepares to deploy cement. It may not be the most environmentally friendly technique, but the Soviets say the amount of cement is negligible. The department's skills are in widespread use. On public holidays, they keep Moscow dry, and further south, they keep agricultural land wet. And after Chernobyl, they even spent a month trying to prevent radioactive rain from falling on the Ukraine. The fallout clouds were dispersed further afield. In Red Square, I'm delighted to report that it's been a superb and sunny day. Another success story for the Department of Weather Modification. Presumably, though, in a distant Moscow suburb, there's been a sudden downpour of cement.
Ha! Ah! Touché! Oh dear, foiled again. Well, in fact, on this occasion, I've actually been outmanoeuvred by someone from the home team who's had some help from a new piece of fencing equipment. And if I just unmask my opponent here, I can reveal Kate Bellingham, our new presenter. Kate, a very warm welcome to the programme.
Thanks very much. It's great to be here. And I'm glad they got me something so glamorous to wear for my first appearance. Well, I don't think Peter or I are going to be making the Olympic fencing squad, but I can reveal the secret of my superior technique.
I wish you would.
Now, the idea of this kind of foil fencing is to hit specific areas on your opponent's body before they can parry or block you. But judging precisely how fast or accurate you are can be a rather hit-and-miss affair. So a French inventor has developed this electronic opponent, so you can wield the old fleuret a bit more scientifically. Now, as soon as I press this button, we'll get a green cue light in the center of the figure, and then we'll get a red light to show me which of the targets to hit. So I'll just have a go. Now, there are 4 possible targets, and whichever light comes on, that's the one I've got to hit. Now, this is totally random. Oh dear, didn't do very well there. Now, there are 2 zones for each target, and the device can sense which one I hit. So tell me how accurate I am. Let's see if I can do better this time. Oh dear, no better. There's also a built-in timer which times how long it takes me to react to each light within a millisecond. Right, one last chance to prove myself here. Oh, well, I did a bit better, didn't I? Right, now all we have to do now is wait for the computer to produce the results. And it sets them out so I can see exactly how I did. And here we go. Right, my first hit, I got zone 2, but it took me 9,715 milliseconds. Oh dear. Second one was better. It was zone 3, but I did it in 759 milliseconds. Well, I think I do need a bit more practice, so let's have another go then.